We're with Brian Hamm, the newly appointed Eastern Connecticut head baseball coach. Brian, first off, welcome to Eastern.
Thank you.
You coached and played for 20 years before leaving Amherst at the end of in May. How difficult was that to sort of break away from college baseball after all those years?
It was difficult. It was made easier by the fact that I had been commuting such a long distance for 3 years, and so the biggest challenge for me was to leave Amherst and the people I cared about and our players. So outside of potentially leaving the game of baseball for, hopefully it was going to be temporary, which it turned out to be, that was the most difficult thing for me.
Did you think it would be that temporary?
No,
that's a pretty quick turnaround.
It was very much so, and I was out recruiting this weekend, and being back at a ball field and watching games was always nice when you return in the summer after the spring season. And so I remember yesterday thinking to myself, wow, this would have been tough to not be around a baseball field on a daily basis.
Were you prepared to be out of the game for a number of years before you found something else that you wanted?
That wasn't the anticipation.
Okay.
And I was really fortunate that this opportunity became available, and it happened in such short order.
You actually have roots in Connecticut, and it seems like, in a sense, you're sort of very familiar with the Eastern program for many different reasons. Just talk about your background in Connecticut.
Well, the Eastern baseball program is steeped in history in Connecticut sports and Connecticut baseball. And so growing up in Terryville, Connecticut, and so close to some other powerhouse cities for baseball with Bristol and with Southington and Plainville, Eastern baseball has drawn so many players from that part of the state, combined with the camps that Coach Holowati had run when I was a youth player growing up and attending those camps, and so many players from my town doing that as well in the summer. That was one of the things that everybody did, and that's how we learned the game, in addition to growing up through our Little League and Babe Ruth and high school. So Eastern baseball, when I was growing up, had tremendous success, as it does now, and so that was something that I always looked up to in terms of college baseball and kind of the standard for success at the college level.
Do you remember you talked about you attended the Eastern baseball camp, and that was back in the days when there weren't, I don't remember a lot of camps. That was one of the big ones.
That was the camp.
What do you remember about Coach Holowati? Were you too young to really process it?
Oh no, I remember it well. I mean, he's physically a large guy. So as you're aged 12, 13, 14, to see him, and also to know his stature within the game, within the game of baseball in Connecticut, and the opportunity to attend the camps and be around the college players and his coaches who were the counselors and coaches at the camp. Those are people that you get excited to meet when you're that age.
And there was a lot of well-known people in the state that were part of that camp, part of that staff. I mean,
yes.
Coaches-wise. Yeah. Brian, you've been recruiting at a private school. You played at a private school. What are the similarities and difference to recruiting to a state school as compared to a private school that you can imagine might be?
Well, I would even say a difference to recruiting to a public university in Connecticut. Being from Connecticut and having gone to public school all the way up through high school in Connecticut, that resonates a lot with me. And the opportunity to recruit players in state to this state universities is something that is a difference in itself compared to my time at Amherst. So that's the first thing that I'm really excited about, is to have players, the majority of the team made up of players who, similar to me, played in state and played in high schools in state, and then now the opportunity for not only myself but to recruit players to represent the state universities is going to be exciting for me. So that's the first major difference. And then the second piece to that, and it's actually a similarity to what I strive to do in terms of recruiting at Amherst, is to find players who are looking for what this institution has to offer. Not only this institution, but what Eastern Connecticut baseball represents. And so to find the students who are looking to Eastern Connecticut for the right reasons, so that when they do arrive here, they're excited to put the jersey on and to have the Eastern name across the chest and represent not only the baseball team and our alumni and our history and the athletics department and the university, but also the state.
How familiar are you with Eastern in terms of what they can offer in terms of majors and minors and all those kinds of things?
Very. I did a lot of research during the application phase to learn about the institution, to make sure that not only it was something that I felt I'd be a good fit for, but that it'd also be a good fit for me and my background. And as an athlete at Middlebury College, and Middlebury being a residential liberal arts college, and the same at Amherst, it's a good fit at Eastern being a liberal arts institution and our only liberal arts institution for a public university and state.
You've worked under and with some of the legendary coaches around. One comes to mind, Bill Thurston, and that was it had to be somewhat of an intimidating job when you took over for Coach Thurston 9 years ago. Is it sort of a similar situation here, in a sense, of trying to maintain something that's really at a high level?
I had the opportunity to coach with Coach Thurston for 4 years.
Yeah.
That's what attracted me to Amherst, the opportunity specifically to learn pitching from him. And during those 4 years, I gained an appreciation for his passion for the game of baseball, and the amount that he worked at learning it, and then also the love that he had for his players, and the true appreciation that he had in respect for the game, but also to honor the institution that he was representing.
Yes.
And so the biggest fear for me when I took over for Coach Thurston was to actually honor that commitment that he had at Amherst for 44 years, and what he had built the program to be, and not only to maintain that, but I felt to then continue it in the direction that it was given to me. And I feel that as a coach, one of the things that really embodies what your legacy is about is how you leave the institution and what it continues to be after you leave. And so I put a lot of time and effort into making sure that the Amherst teams that I was coaching would honor what Coach Thurston had built during his 44 years at Amherst. Transitioning to Eastern and understanding and appreciating the long history of success, specifically with the baseball program, but then also in a bigger picture, the success that we've had as an athletics department across the board is something that not only am I excited about, but that is something that will push me to make sure that in my own right, I work hard to honor and to carry on that legacy. And then also, hopefully, to bridge our history and specifically our alumni and everything that they've contributed to the success of the program up to this point, and the coaches who have done so as well, to make sure that our current team appreciates everything that they are a part of and the reasons for why they're fortunate to be a part of such a good program now, because the people who came before them helped build the program to what it is today.
Which I'm sure is something you emphasized in Amherst.
Yes.
Same basic
Yes.
concept.
And that's a luxury that Amherst baseball has, and that's a luxury that Eastern baseball has. It's the history of success that has been built through generations of ball players who've worked really hard to represent the institution. And so that's something that we're fortunate to use as a foundation.
What are some, besides the tradition of the program, what are you looking at as some of the things that will attract a student athlete to Eastern?
First of all, the facilities. The facilities here, both in terms of the baseball facility, but the entire complex, the Mansfield athletic complex with the new locker room facility, and then the facilities that we have on campus, not only in athletics, but the beautiful campus that we now have,
It is nice.
that over the years the state of Connecticut has built up. I would say, in addition to that, what has impressed me the most and attracted me the most to here and to be excited about this position are the people. And that's something that I've had the opportunity to learn over the past couple of weeks, the more people that I've gotten to meet, not only in athletics, but at the university. The people here have a lot of pride in Eastern. They have passion for the work that they do here, and that builds a sense of spirit and energy that not only manifests itself in spirit for athletics, but overall school spirit. And so to have the opportunity to work with people who really care about this institution and take pride in it is something that I'm going to look forward to every day.
It is a very tight-knit community, both in athletics and in the rest of the community, the rest of the
and that's very clear. It's very clear.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
And that's sort of the environment you would want to work in, and I'm sure Amherst was the same way.
Yes. Yeah.
Brian, last question. You graduated from Middlebury, played baseball there. At some point, I'm sure you didn't go to Middlebury, or maybe you did. You didn't go to Middlebury with the intent of being a college baseball coach. I would think if you paid that kind of money. Is there a certain point where you said, I think I'd like to do this for a career?
There was. My Middlebury experience transformed me to who I am today. You know, from a high school student to an adult, the 4 years of students' college experience, especially going from a young age to maturing to an adult, has a significant impact in not only who you are, but also your core values. And I was fortunate to have outstanding coaches and mentors and teammates at Middlebury, and to love Middlebury as a place that became my second home. And in doing so, I learned what was important to me, and that influenced where I decided to go in terms of a career path. My family has a long relationship with athletics. My father was a long-time coach and director of athletics in our town. My grandparents helped start our Little League in Babe Ruth and built our town fields. And my parents always instilled in me the understanding that no matter what I chose to do in life as a profession, that I do it to the best of my abilities. And that they'd essentially be proud of me for whatever I chose to do. And Middlebury reinforced that. And then in the second day of my senior year at Middlebury was September 11th. And that dramatically influenced an outlook for a college senior in terms of deciding what to do. And so while in some ways I had an interest in going into finance and investment banking, that day really changed how I looked at my future and allowed for me to look back on my core values and think about what was important to me in terms of what I did on a daily basis. And so I was fortunate to have the opportunity to stay at Middlebury and coach in soccer and baseball, the two sports that I played there, and work in admissions for a wonderful admissions office and Dean John Hansen, and get to know the president, John McCardle, very well, who was very instrumental in college athletics. And so through my experience in admissions and learning how to recruit students, and then through my experience coaching at Middlebury, I really gained an appreciation that this is something that I want to do for the rest of my life.
Well, Brian, thanks for spending some time with us.
Thank you.
Best of luck. Hope everything goes well. And
Thank you.
I know you're going to be a great rep of the baseball program.
Well, I'm really looking forward to getting to meet our alumni and getting to know our current players better and gaining an appreciation for everything that Eastern baseball is about. I have a taste of it, and have always appreciated and respected Eastern baseball from afar. and now to have the honor and privilege to be a part of the program and to learn from people like yourself and other people, both who work here. There's so many alumni and athletics alumni who work in athletics here. That also speaks volumes about what this institution is about. People are really excited to return. So for me to have the opportunity to learn from all those people, from our alumni and from our current players about Eastern baseball and the direction that it's headed and where we want to continue to take it, I'm really excited about that. So thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
All right.